Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is out, and a lot of people have been talking about both games, the one from the Wii and now the one from the Switch, and how it's progressed, the things that it's changed, and what makes it so different. We know lots of the changes to be obvious ones, like brand new modes and mini-games, and 2 brand new copy abilities, amongst some other things that are pretty obvious that Nintendo has shared with us. But there are also tons of secrets and little changes that Nintendo has made to this game that Nintendo has not shared with us. So today I have 45 brand new additions and changes that Nintendo has made for Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe Edition. So sit back, relax, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks guys. First off, King DDD uses his model from Forgotten Land and changes how he looks now, which he now has like that big beefy neck that we all love. Number 2, Meta Knight goes back to his appearance from Kirby Planet Robobot. Number 3, Bandana Waddle Dee is actually called his full name now. Instead of just Waddle Dee, they actually refer to him as Bandana Waddle Dee, which makes a lot of sense because he's not just a Waddle Dee, he's Bandana Waddle Dee. And here are the old models for comparison's sake. Number 4, the menus are vastly different, and here's what they look like. Number 5, the map now has a way to get to Halcondra and back to Popstar with an emblem on the map, instead of just clicking 1 on the ship. Number 6, we have new controls. You can tap the stick really fast in order to sprint instead of having to tap right on a D-pad really fast. And you don't have to shake the controller anymore, even though you still can. You can just move the left stick a lot in order to have the kind of shake mechanic, which also works for not only Kirby's Inhale, but also getting out of enemies' traps and stuff like that, which is definitely an improvement in case you don't want to shake your Pro Controller all day. Number 7, we now have proper diagonal swimming, because remember with the D-pad on the Wiimote, you couldn't diagonal swim, and you can also shoot bubbles diagonally now, and the swimming mechanic has changed completely. It's not a constant burst of energy that Kirby uses in order to move throughout the water. You actually can control him and control whenever he shoots forward and lunges when he swims with the press of a button, which is definitely a lot better and feels very closer to more of the modern Kirby games. Yes, we have the Mecha and Sand abilities, but we also have the Festival ability returning from Kirby Star Allies, which is pretty neat, even though it returns the game in only like 2 different stages. But at the end of the day, it's here in case you want it. I don't know. It is what it is. It's just a screen clearer ability, so yeah, it's here. Number 9, in the old Kirby's Return to Dreamland, KO'd mid-bosses could still do damage to you while they're laying on the ground, but in the new game, they no longer do damage to you, but just knock back, and it sounds like it's doing damage, but you're perfectly fine, which I definitely love this improvement. This is always a problem for me in every Kirby game. Number 10, we have the dodge and air dodges back from Kirby's Triple Deluxe. You even have spot dodge and even dodges on the ground left and right, which kind of is a really good option, I guess, if you want to hurry up and dodge at the last second. It has that Smash Brothers kind of mentality moveset, and I love it. It's just a nice little addition to this game. For number 11, in the next handful of facts we have coming up are going to be copy ability based. Now, these are small different changes within the copy abilities themselves. Most of them stayed the same, but there are some small changes. For one, starting off, Wing Kirby's headdress got redesigned. The feathers were just positioned in different ways, and it looks a little cleaner now. Number 12, Fire can now jump while using Searing Burn. Yeah, I know, it's a small detail, but you could not jump in the previous game after this. Number 13, Sword now has Hat Thrust, where you can gently drop the sword after performing a neutral B in the air, which is actually pretty interesting, because you can combo off of multiple enemies with this instead of just dropping straight down very fast. Number 14, Stone now has Mighty Uppercut, which isn't just a punch in the air, you can actually charge it to hit harder, and it has Spin, allowing you to move around in rock form. You can actually spin around your rock statue to see all sides of it, which is pretty cool. It's pointless, but it's pretty cool. There's also 3 new rock transformations. You have Car Kirby from Forgotten Land, you have Magalore and the Lore Star Cutter, and you also have Full Kirby from Kirby's Dream Buffet. Number 15, High Jump has a new outline on the outside of Kirby's body when he jumps. It now kind of follows his little hands. You can see little hands come out as if he's a superhero, where before it was just a circle that surrounded him. Number 16, Tornado now has the green color that we saw in more of the recent games like Star Allies and the Forgotten Land, and it's gained better airtime and mobility control compared to the previous game, with the original one being on the Wii, not being that easy to control. Number 17, you can now move and charge up Hammer Flip. You couldn't charge it up or even move before, it was just one simple swoop move. Now you can charge it up all the way with 3 different charge levels, and you can even charge it too long where it burns into a steak like we see in the modern games now. And number 18, 19, there are now crash and mic abilities in the ability rooms for you to try out. I also would like to note that the extra characters also got moveset updates from recent games like Meta Knight, King DDD, and Bandana D. For instance, Bandana D's helicopter lasts longer, but I just didn't feel like putting every single little detail with all those characters. It would be too long. They're just updated. Moving on to number 19, out of the copy ability list, overall, it feels like either the attacks are weaker in this game or the enemies have more defense, because in the old game, you could take out a mini boss with 2 hammer flips and they were down. Where in the new game, every single copy ability hits for significantly less damage, which probably is to make the game a little harder because Kirby's Return to Dreamland is a very easy game overall. I think it's also the fact that hammer was nerfed greatly because now you have to charge the thing in order to get the maximum power instead of just using it as a straight attack. In World 5-1 on the first screen, you can actually see Mary Magaland now in the background, which kind of ties to how it's sitting there on Popstar, and it's pretty cool. It's kind of a cool world building thing now. The World 1 Secret Howl Room has a new theme playing. The old one played the classic Kirby theme song, where the new version plays a medley of songs from Kirby's Dream Buffet. The second Howl stage in the original once again plays that same Kirby tune. Where in the new version, it plays the Fighting Waddle tank theme from Scope Shot. Number 23, we actually have 2 brand new Howl rooms. The first one is on Dangerous Dinner, which is level 7-2. If you go all the way to the section with the falling ceilings, get to the end of the hallway and don't go through the door. Wait for a very long time and eventually the ceilings will raise, giving you an invincibility candy, allowing you to get through all the enemies and go to a bonus section using the Fire Mega ability, which is pretty cool. Now the thing is, you have to wait a very long time. I mean, seriously, it took about 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes for me. It's a crazy thing. I don't know how people find these, but yeah, it's an awesome Howl room. And the second one is in the hub world of Magalore Epilogue. First, you have to go all the way to the top left of the entire hub world, and you'll see this little area drop down, and a platform should come out with some energies to pick up. Then you want to go all the way to the top right of the hub world, where there will be another energy piece to pick up. But there won't be really anything that happens after you pick it up, because you have to go find what happens, which is kind of crazy. Make your way down to the lava area in World 2, and right by the fan, go to the right and drop down into the platform. It will give you a new mini level that also serves as a Howl room at the end, which is really cool. The gold doors have new songs and animations. There's also new transitions for going through doors and going through dimensional rifts. Number 26, did you know you can actually store items like you could in some of the other modern Kirby games? Yes, so pretty much you have to go to Mary Magaland and go to the little concession stand, and you can unlock different types of drinks and extra items that you can store with you, even a cannon that you can pull out whenever you want, which is pretty cool. Once you have it in game, all you have to do is hold down X, and then boom, voila, you have some extra health. Number 27, Kirby now has new super ability animations for each one. Number 28, there are two new giant swords that Kirby can pull out with his Mega Sword ability. One is the Gigant Sword from Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and one is the Morpho Knight Blade, which is super cool. It is very rare though. I've actually tried this like 150 times and only got it one time. So yeah, keep trying it, you'll see it eventually. There are actually taunts in this game just like Kirby and the Forgotten Land. You can push 4 different directions using the right stick and Kirby will have different animations. Number 30, the sound test in this game is a little bit different than the original. For one, you actually had sounds in the original and you don't have that anymore. Instead, it's just autoplay, but the music this time around actually has names that pop up at the bottom of the screen, so you can finally find your favorite song. I found mine. Number 31, apparently, according to the official Kirby wiki, Extra Mode actually adds more enemies this time and obstacles, which I'm not 100% sure if this is the case. It's hard to kind of see this one by one. From what I've seen so far, I haven't seen too many big differences. In both games, enemies get big and small, and there seems to be more of them in both games, so I'm not 100% sure if this game adds anything more than the original, but maybe some of you out there can actually confirm this. Number 32, Extra Mode now replaces almost every single healing item with a star, making it a lot harder than the original. I definitely felt that this time around. Number 33, Magolor X's black hole does not spin the screen anymore. And I guess maybe it's because it would hurt people's brains and eyes after a while, and they didn't want to mess with people's eyes, so they kind of made that quick change. Number 34, the game makes collecting energy spheres actually the easy part now, because normally you need a specific ability in order to get lots of these spheres in these different side rooms, where normally you would have to find the ability outside the room and bring it in, but now they seem to give you the abilities within these rooms in order to use them, which does make it a lot easier, which I don't know how I feel about that. Which leads me to number 35. Collecting energy spheres in this game in general is just very easy, and they made a lot of the regular ones that are just there to grab a lot easier as well. For instance, in World 3-4, there is a current that shoots you up if you go in front of the rolling shell. You're supposed to let the shell go by first and break the blocks in order to collect the piece. Now, I actually made a mistake of actually swimming up towards the current, and I realized I could just sit there and wait for the shell to go by and break the blocks for me to collect the piece. I was not pushed away from the current, which is a big change. Moving on to egg engines in Area 6, in the original game, every single Crusher area played this same theme song. But in the new game, they changed the last Crusher area to be the Heavy Lobster theme from Scope Shot. Kirby can now use Water Gun diagonally underwater as mentioned before, but the music in the water is actually quieter now, and it has more of an ambient sound. Number 38, Extra Mode now has a purple health bar for Kirby instead of the previous green one. Probably now because there's new heal potions that would make the bar turn green, just like in the Magolor Epilogue mode. You level your health all the way up, you'll get a second green bar. Speaking of Magolor's Epilogue, number 39, at the end of the credits, it now says there's more ? Instead of saying the end, because obviously there's a whole nother side story with Magolor. Number 40, HRD3 and Galactonite's lasers now leave a shockwave and a deafening sound effect. This can also be seen and heard with the battle against Master Crown at the end of Magolor's Epilogue. Alright, we have 5 more to go. Coming in at number 41, Magolor's third phase where you have to use super abilities in order to break his shield. His health bars are segmented, and you'll notice in the original there is just a one solid color for this. But in the remake, he actually has some script ancient text or writing going through it, which makes it a little bit more mysterious. So this one is a pretty massive one. The Magolor Soul True Arena boss battle is changed completely. For one, the entire stage is a lot darker than that of the original, and the void in the background looks a lot like Void Termina now, with all the different squiggles and lines going through the orb. Also, the boss itself, Magolor's Soul has so many new abilities, and he also has super abilities just like Kirby, but he also has new ones as well. For instance, he will use Kirby's mecha ability, but as a super and shoot a massive laser. He'll also use the sand and shoot 2 giant sand tornadoes at Kirby from the background, which is pretty neat. And he also has a new death animation now. Not to mention, the True Arena is just ruthless now. It has not only all the X bosses, but also the bosses from Magolor Epilogue, which is the new versions of the bosses from the main game. And it's just filled to the brim of so many difficult bosses and very little heals. Like, this has got to be one of the most difficult arenas yet, and I'm talking Planet Robobot exists. The music in the Extra Modes version of the mid-boss tower from Nutty Noon has changed, and now it is the Star Allies King DDD boss theme. Number 44, every X boss battle has a different color and text as well. And number 45, this one's going to be a long one. Every boss now has pause screen text, and the ones that did before now have new and more info about them. So, of course, let's go through them all real quick. Sorry, I was so invested in fighting Magolor's soul and trying to win the true arena, which I did. I just managed to forget to actually look up the different description for him, but here it is. That was 45 new changes from the old Kirby's Return to Dreamland to the new one, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Now, thank you guys so much for tuning in, but I have another mission for you guys. If you guys want to appear in a next video, I am doing a video just talking about cool little details and stuff that people probably would have missed, that maybe just didn't even play the original game. So if you found any cool details or secrets or fun things that you can do in this game that a lot of people probably missed, comment them down below and you could appear in the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. If you enjoy the content, stop what you're doing also. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all things Kirby and all things Nintendo in general. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Did you subscribe? Okay, thank you guys so much. I'll see you all in the next one. See ya, guys.